Did you go for vacation? For spring break?
The Dominican Republic. Getting at the airport, it was, we were running a little bit late, so we were rushing, and then they immediately called our flight. Like, we couldn't get a bottle of water. And so we actually had the early check-in, like the early get on the plane. So we went on immediately. The flight, I was next to my mom and Mason, my brother. So was listening to music and playing games on my phone and watching Netflix. The airport, it was smoothly going and the lines were short, but when it came to transportation, we went to the wrong company to drive us to the hotel. So it was a long wait for being hungry, but it ended up being a good drive and a good car. The name was Dreams Dominicus La Romana. It was a really good hotel. It was gated, and we had, so there was a gated entrance, then there was our hotel building, which was the preferred guest club, and then there were other rooms on the sides of the entrance. The lobby was in the center, and if we kept going, it would lead to a bunch of pools, bars, and then it went off to the beach. We checked in and we ate. We got room service. It was interesting room service, but it was what we had at the time. We ate and my mom and I went to the pool. We slept in. It was tiring. We slept in, and Sam and Mom went to the gym. I think we spent a day at the beach. It was where the hotel was. It was, we had an area with chairs, and you could walk up to a hut sort of thing with really beautiful crystal clear water.
But we may have gone right to the beach from breakfast. And where we were in like a section where they got our lawn chairs, our beach chairs for us. And we went into the ocean, which we were really surprised. It was really lots of waves. I would not have thought that an island would have had as many waves as it did, but they were really fun. It was good waves. Susanna and I, we all went out and enjoyed the water. Susanna and I went to this area out on a pier, which had a hut of some type, where we took lots of fabulous pictures. The water is just so blue, and just walking on the beach that was so white. It was really beautiful.
I believe we ended up watching a magic show. I think.
They asked us 4 questions. One was, what was the most spoken language in the world? What was the most favorite dog, meaning like television-wise? What was I think the longest river? And the last question was, how many 9s are there between the number 0 and 100? So, several tried but didn't get it right. Then I volunteered and won most of the questions, and won a bottle of rum or something like that. So it was a fun night. Then went back to the hotel and went to sleep. The next day,
Painting, especially the assistant in the box with the swords going in. It was mind-boggling because I couldn't figure out how she did it. So the third day, we spent time in the smaller pool with volleyball, and we got to play volleyball even though the water was a little bit deep and it was challenging for me to get up and jump to hit the ball, but it was a fun game.
I can talk about it. So I went to the comedy club. Nobody joined me at the comedy club. Comedy club was a little interesting because they really can't do comedy in English or in Spanish because there's not really, not everybody can understand both. So a lot of the comedy club was focused more on skits and just acting out. So it was a little challenging. Probably not as funny had they been able to speak.
I believe the fourth day, and there were squirrel monkeys, and they were just the most delicate things. We had fruit dishes to feed them with, and took lots of pictures. There were a lot of farming areas, and there were definitely a lot of wild dogs and some bulls too. And then when it got to the city part, it was pretty crowded with lots of stores and lots of people riding on motorcycles.
That there are traffic lights, but really nobody observes them, and scooters are everywhere. Like they don't. There's no license. There's no age for a license for scooters. So he basically said that the dad will be on the scooter and the mom will be on front and the kid on the side and another child on the other side and the guy smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer and driving through town. Like, it is crazy. And they were all over the place. So, but we got to see things like the hospital and the police station and the cathedral that's in downtown, that people travel for hours and hours to get to this cathedral once a year. So it's a special place for them.
On this adventurous car with no speed limit on the roads.
One day we went on an excursion to Monkey Island, where the monkeys were adorable and so fun, and they would jump on your head and jump and land on your shoulders and in your hands and eat food right out of your hands, and you have to be careful not to step on them, and just really adorable, lots of fun. And we learned a lot about the culture and how they brought the monkeys to the island, and how they're trying to sustain and gain and have more monkeys there from year to year. After that, we went to a house that was kind of a replica of the houses in Punta Cana, and saw the cacao trees and coconuts and how chocolate powder is made out of these cocoa beans, and tasted some of the bitter chocolate, not my favorite, but we learned how it was done. Coconut, we did a lot of, saw how the coconut was made into the flakes and how it's used in oil and in hair products and milk, and so it's pretty interesting. But when we were done, we were ready to leave there. Let's see, then we went on an excursion the next day to, we took a bus ride to a party boat basically, and that was a little bit of a drive, but worth it, because when we got there, we got to see different animals like iguanas and alligators, and there was a flamingo on the beach, and we got all sunscreened up and got on the boat, and just driving on the boat, they would throw food off the overboard, and the fish would just swarm to them. They were jumping out of the water. It was really cool to see. Then we got to where we were supposed to dock for our excursion, and we're all in our scuba gear, scuba mask and snorkel, and getting ready. I knew I wanted to take pictures, so I had purchased a water protection. Even though my phone is supposed to be waterproof, I was nervous, so I put it on, jumped overboard, and my phone dropped to the bottom of the ocean. So some super kind person actually jumped in, and we could see it. The water was so clear. We could look underwater and see my phone all the way down at the bottom. It was very clear, but it was all the way down at the bottom. So some kind person jumped all the way in and swam to the bottom and grabbed my phone for me, and we then put the phone back on board, so I don't have any awesome pictures from my phone for that excursion. But so then we snorkeled and saw lots of great, beautiful fish, and made our way over to the stingray area, where we were able to hold the stingray, and my mom and Susanna were probably the closest to it, which was the stingray. We had seen that stingray before, so it was very cool. Then we went over to an area where there were stingrays and sharks just swimming around you, on just everywhere. Sharks were underneath you. The fish were still everywhere. Just gorgeous. Lots of fun. And being able to see the yellow of the fish was cool. Then we headed back to the boat. Still, there's just fish all along the way. And back up on the boat, it was a good time. There was lots of drinking and dancing, and the people around us were great. Everybody was having a really great time. The guy was one of the people there. They were singing and doing lots of fun stuff and making a drink called Coco Loco, which they say is made of coconut and makes you a little loco. So it was tasty. So then we docked and got out, and that's where it was like a big party scene. There was music playing and everyone drinking and playing games and throwing footballs, and it was a fun excursion. Lots of sun, nice boat ride, but everybody had a great time. A party on the beach where they did limbos, and they did just dancing and fire performers and lots of balloons, but unfortunately it was our time to leave. So it was a fabulous trip and break with my mom, which was really a special time for us. And no better, it's such a perfect place to be. This Punta Cana is really, it was a gorgeous resort. The hotel is beautiful. The people there were awesome. They took we took a lot of golf cart trips, because they really took care of my mom, who was a little slow walking wise. So we were able to order a golf cart, and they would pretty much take us wherever we wanted, whether we were, from the hotel to the beach, and the beach to the restaurant, or family. One of the special things about this trip was that this is the first time all three of the kids, Sam, Susanna, and Mason, have the same spring break. So we were able to, for the first time, all go away and enjoy a spring break with